Antoinette being infected?
No.
No.
Okay.
Even
Majority of the time should not be.
Yeah. Unless I cough on
Okay.
it.
get up there. So our scenario is a long relationship to someone between mother and a daughter. So Jake is the daughter, I'm the mother. Jake's about to go to sleep, so I'm gonna come in and wish him a good night, Jake. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Infected or not?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Okay. All right, next.
Okay, so we're group 5, we're just talking and hanging out as friends. So I'm the infected amigo here.
Hey, what's up?
How much? How was the spring break?
Good. What'd you do?
I don't know.
You okay?
Okay.
So what do you guys think?
Tuberculosis makes you laugh.
They could be. It could be.
Yeah, that's
This is kind of an in-between because usually friends hang out a lot, you know. And so if they're just meeting each other for the first time, most likely not. But if they're really good friends, then and they're coughing on each other, then the potential of it spreading is very high.
Good friends call each other. Yeah. Well, if you're hanging out in a really tight space,
Okay.
like you're just hanging out like a closet.
So say if like you're in a compacted space like Jason said. Like,
Yeah, JT.
alright. Would we like just talking, would we be infected or
It depends on if it's active TB or if it's latent TB. If it's latent, then the chance of it spreading is much, much lower. But if it's active, then it's really high chance.
and if it was active, would you be like staying in a hospital bed?
It depends on how bad it's gone so far. Okay, thank you. Yes.
So then, with tuberculosis, does it not, you don't put it in the air unless you're coughing, if you're breathing, it doesn't?
I don't believe so. Some might get out.
Like if I breathe in his mouth, can we get it?
It's a really low chance because coughing actually takes up the lesions and like expels them.
What if you're like boyfriend, girlfriend, you're making out with a guy and he has TB that's latent? Are you like still at
You're
risk?
dead.
Wait, active
You
or
got
latent?
Or either or? Like which one?
It really just depends. There's different chances.
Like you're swapping saliva in your mouth.
Saliva doesn't really spread
And then what else?
tuberculosis. It's more of air.
Wait, just like?
Okay.
So,
What's next?
okay.
You like sneeze.
Alright. Thank you everyone for participating in the activity. So I have some statistics to show you. In the U.S., tuberculosis is really carefully observed because we really want to try to lower the amount of people that have tuberculosis. And so in 2009, there were 11,539 cases of tuberculosis that are just now being seen. Like in 2009, people would come to their doctors and be diagnosed with it. But in 2010, that number dropped to 11,182. So it's a really slow drop in number of people, but it's very, very promising because it's showing that education and other ways of prevention are actually starting to work a little bit. And the foreign-born people that come into the U.S. account for 60% of the infected people, and this is because they come from areas such as somewhere in Mexico where they live in a really small town where the cleanliness is not very high, and so TB spreads really fast because they're really close with everyone in their community, but they're not as clean as areas here. are higher percentages of tuberculosis and some aren't. And so the blue ones are like 3,600,000 people have tuberculosis. And so you can see here that in 2010, Washington wasn't one of the highest states, which is good, but it's also kind of surprising because on the news lately, they've been talking about tuberculosis in Washington and how it's one of the highest. So, but it's a good thing. So, prevention. This is really key because there aren't reliable vaccines for tuberculosis right now, and so we have to educate people on how they can prevent themselves from getting it. And so early detection is key. That's one of the biggest things that we could do. I know it's unrealistic to go into the doctors to get a tuberculosis test every month, but it would really help because if you can detect it early, the chances of it becoming extreme drug resistant are lower. Education and screening. This is actually a picture of a classroom where they're doing an activity on tuberculosis. It's in Africa. I don't remember which country, but in Africa, some countries have really, really high percentages of tuberculosis cases because they don't have education on it and they don't know how they can prevent themselves from getting it. Personal hygiene is also a big one because if you're washing yourself off all the time, you're getting all that bacteria off you constantly. Isolation of those infected is also not one that's realistic, but it would help. It would probably help a lot. But this is like the leopard colonies. They thought it was spreadable, and so they put everyone on that had leprosy in a different area. But in today's world, there's moral ethics that have to be thought of, and this is just not a viable option anymore. Screening new immigrants that come into the U.S. This is also big because, as you can see, 60% of the people that had tuberculosis in the United States came from foreign countries. And this is a table on different countries that give us, the U.S., lots of tuberculosis. So, yeah. So some cures for tuberculosis. There aren't really necessarily cures, they're just more like remedies, I'm guessing. A long dosage of many pills is given to people that have tuberculosis. This is called DOTS. It stands for Directly Observed Treatment Short. This is a picture of someone getting DOTS treatment. The doctors actually have to watch the patient swallow the pills. This is because the tuberculosis pills that are given, they have really bad side effects with pain and weight loss and lots of other things that are just really they're not wanted in someone's body. So some people that don't have really bad tuberculosis, they think they'd rather have tuberculosis. It's not that bad.